Listen to that V8 pull. Slow and steady. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is a lovely day here in Southwest Michigan. It's about 90 degrees, and if you're watching this channel, if you're watching this video, you probably already know that this car, this vehicle, the Lexus GX470, is an excellent used vehicle to buy. You probably already know that it's super reliable. You probably already know that it's very capable. As you can tell, it sounds pretty good. This vehicle is almost 20 years old now, and the build quality is still incredibly obvious. It's a well-made vehicle, and to be honest, a lot of the cars from this era were just as good. This is not the only 20-year-old vehicle available that'll give you reliability, capability, comfort, luxury, all that. Sorry about that, I got stuff rolling around. Oh, listen to that. What a lot of you may not realize is that a lot of cars from this era are great cars in general. Not just Toyota, not just Lexus products. Of course, the LX 470 and 570 are amazing cars, but they're so overpriced. I'm going to be honest, I would not buy a used LX. Not right now, I wouldn't. Just because you're paying an obscene amount of money for a 20-year-old car. I know they're very capable and all that. They're nice cars. Yes, I know. But they're still so overpriced. And for about half as much money, you can get something like a Nissan Armada or Infiniti QX. Now, I know a lot of you will say Nissan builds junk. They don't build good cars. Well, if you know, you know. The older Nissans, the older Infinitis, especially with the V8 models, the VK56 engine is an incredible engine. It's very stout, it's quick, it's powerful, it's very reliable, and really, to be honest, it's just a good motor in general. It's fun to drive. If you've ever driven one of the older Titans, you already know this. But a lot of people will overlook it because Nissan has had a bad reputation over the last 10 years, mostly just due to a few models. And really, it's just the models that had the CVT transmission, and only a few cars had the CVT transmission in the Nissan lineup. And Renault kind of ruined their reputation when they merged with them and they started using the CVTs, and Nissan threw them out. They recently threw them out. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Nissan's doing pretty well for themselves. They're making a pretty strong comeback right now, and I'm so glad to see it. I used to own an 87 Nissan Pathfinder, 2-door, 5-speed, V6, 4-wheel drive, and I absolutely loved that car. I loved it. I had it when I lived in Arizona. I would bash around through the desert all day long. It would do donuts like nobody's business. A short wheelbase, high center of gravity. I had hardly any overhang front and rear. It's just a really cool car, a really fun car. A lot of people wouldn't look twice at it, but I loved it. My kids loved it. My kids learned how to drive in it. So I'm happy personally to see Nissan making a comeback. I love to see it. But speaking about cars from this era, from this generation, early 2000s, mid 2000s, Nissan had a good run. Infiniti had a very solid run, not just in their big SUV like the Armada, but the Infiniti FX. A lot of people say that's an ugly car, and I agree it's kind of odd looking, but man, that FX is a solid SUV. I would compare it to the Cayenne, especially the FX F-150 with the V8. I think a lot of people actually did back in the day. I think I read a comparison on it somewhere on one of the magazines. But I've driven the FX37, and it is a fun SUV to drive. I think it's built really well. It's comfortable. The seats, I remember being a little bit small, but they're good cars. And if I remember correctly, they have a very good safety rating as well. That I don't know if it's because the long front end that sticks out, the way that it was just designed. I don't know. I think they called it the front midship. Listen to that V8 pull. Slow and steady. Oh. The V8 is so nice. Gotta love an old V8. It don't even have to be fast. It just sounds good doing it. Right? I think we all love a V8. But back to the Infiniti FX. That is a good SUV. My youngest son, he wants one real bad. When he gets old enough, he says he's gonna buy one. He's been hooked on it. Their cars, the M37, M35, M56, the Q70 that followed afterwards, those are good cars. The Q70 with the V8, just like the M56, that is a great car. That is a fantastic car. If you've never driven one, if you get a chance to, if you can find one for a good price, you may enjoy it. I think you would like it. And these cars can be had for super cheap, especially the M models. They're very, very affordable cars. Even the EX, I think the EX is a little bit ugly, in my opinion, but I know that they're good cars. I know that they're quick cars, that the VQ engine is rock solid, makes a lot of power for what it is. These are just good cars in general. Of course, the QX56 is just like the Armada, but that's a solid vehicle. I know the earlier models, they did have some issues. A friend of mine, his parents bought one of the first generations of the QX80, I think it was, and they did have some problems with that vehicle. But that was one of the first models that came out, the first years that it came out. And honestly, you should never buy the first year model, first 2 or 3 year model of a vehicle. I mean, unless you got the money, unless you got it like that, and you have the patience to be dealing with recalls and ironing out the bugs. If you can deal with that, then by all means, go ahead if you're comfortable with that. But a lot of us, we're not. We don't want to deal with it. The Lexus GX, this truck right here, these are actually going down in price a lot. You can pick these things up for fairly cheap. A lot of times under 10 grand. I paid 12 grand for this two years ago, a little over 2 years ago. It had 147,000 miles on it. I put 21,000 miles on it. I haven't had to do anything to this car. Just tires and oil, gas. I did replace the rear air suspension, the airbags. I did a coil conversion, and that was super cheap. I think I bought the cheapest set of springs on Amazon that I could find. They were like 150 bucks, something like that. I just needed them in a pinch, and I had planned on replacing them in the future, but I don't need to. I think it rides good. I think it rides just as good as the airbags. A shop nearby, they did the install for me, and they only charged like $220. So altogether, it was a pretty affordable replacement, and I'm happy with it. But you don't even have to spend 12 grand. You could spend, I've seen these for like 7 or 8 grand with over 200,000 miles. And don't let the mileage scare you. The 200,000 mile GX470, if it's been taken care of, if it's had the timing belt replaced, if it's had the airbag swapped out, you're probably good to go. Unless it's been really neglected and abused, it'll probably still last you quite a while. And you already know that. That's why you're watching this video, probably. But even if you're not into SUVs, the LS 430 is an amazing car. We all know that, but a lot of people forget about the GS 430. I personally prefer the looks of the GS 430. I grew up in the early 2000s as a teenager, the hip hop era, where, you know, the Lex bubble, that was kind of the thing, right? With the little bubble headlights, and I like them. I like them. I would definitely pick up a GX470 if I could find one in good condition. I know they're hard to find, even harder to find one in good condition. But there's so many good cars out there from this era. Even if you don't want to go luxury car, you could look at the Nissan Xterra. The Nissan Xterra, I wanted one for a long time. Those are awesome SUVs. They'll go anywhere. I know in the early years, I think from 2005 to 2009, they had some issues with the transmission cooler lines busting and mixing with the coolant, the engine coolant. And so that can be a pretty serious issue. But a lot of those, if they're still on the road today, they've probably already had that bypassed. It's a pretty simple and affordable bypass. Most people did it because they know and they didn't want to deal with it. So if you find a model from those years and it's still on the road, it's probably already been taken care of. But even after that, after 09, I think 2010, I think they were already taken care of. I think they took care of that issue. Same thing with the Frontier, which is very similar mechanically to the Xterra. They're just good cars. They're really good cars. Even a Porsche Cayenne. A Porsche Cayenne is an amazing vehicle. I've driven one before. They're a lot of fun to drive. They can be expensive to repair, but I mean they're pretty reliable. So I don't believe you find yourself needing to do repairs very often. Not only are they capable, but they're comfortable as well. Very nice interior to be in. I mean, I think so personally. I like them. And so yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video because a lot of people, they go on out there, they're spending their money on cars that they're really just rolling the dice. They're really gambling. They're really not sure what to buy. They want something that's kind of relevant, kind of cool, got a cool factor to it. But also you need to make sure that thing is reliable, especially if you're buying it from a dealership. If you're financing an older vehicle, which a lot of people have to, a lot of people have no choice, right? That's reality. Not everyone has great credit. Sometimes they go through issues where the credit gets ruined. Not a lot of people can afford to buy a car in cash. So you may just have to finance a car from a shady secondhand dealership. And if you are doing that, you really got to be careful. You really got to be picky about what kind of car you choose to buy. It's got to last the length of the loan, right? And I think that's one of the biggest problems with buying a new car right now is they're not making it. And they're so expensive. People are financing their cars for 7, 8, I think some 10 years. And they're only lasting about 3 to 4 years before they need serious mechanical repairs. And I can tell you right now, there's nothing worse than having a car that you're making payments on that you can't drive. Even if you can afford to repair it, it's going to take a while. You're going to be without a car for a while, and it's just a headache. It doesn't matter how cool the car looks. It doesn't matter what people think of it. If it's broke down, it sucks. It's just a burden. It's a piece of junk. That's how you're going to feel about it. However, if you buy an older car and it didn't cost you very much and you're not putting any money into it and it's always running, man, that makes you feel so good. I have an old Suzuki XL7 at home. I did a video about it the other day where I jump started it for the first time after like 6 or 7 months. It fired right up. And we used that truck for several years. My wife used it for several years to get to work and back. We actually drove it from Arizona all the way out here to Michigan. We pulled a little U-Haul trailer with it. We spent $3,000 for that thing in 2018. $3,000. And we got about 7 years of solid regular use. And that just feels so good to spend so little and get so much back. The value that you're getting, to me, that's where I get my happiness from. That's what makes me feel good. I don't care to go out there and finance or buy a very expensive item and say, hey, look at this, look what I got. I want to get something back from it. I want it to reward me. I want it to bring something to the table. You know what I mean? I want it to make me some money. I want it to last me. I want it to work for me. And I definitely got it with that old Suzuki. And a lot of people, they would totally overlook that little Suzuki and just say, wow, that little thing, little piece of junk. But man, it is an amazing little car. I don't know what they did, how they designed that vehicle. I can fit in the third row comfortably. And my knees will touch the back of the seat. If you watch the video, you'll see my knees will touch the back of the seat. But my thighs are all the way down, which if you've ever sat in the third row seat of really any car, you already know that could be an issue, and it is an issue in most third row vehicles, but not in that. Not in that thing. It's very capable off-road as well. Has a good four-wheel drive system. It's a tank in the snow, and super reliable. Anyways, just something for you to think about if you're in the market. If you're not sure about what kind of car you could buy or what car you should buy, if you're hesitant to purchase a new vehicle, I totally get it. I totally understand. I would be the same way. I am the same way. Hence the reason why I'm driving a 20-year-old Lexus right now. So I hope this video brought something. I hope it brought some value to you. I hope you can do something with it. If you're interested in buying an older car, but you're not sure if it's worth it. I know I went through this conversation with my sister when she was looking for a car. She just couldn't grasp the concept of buying an old Lexus or an old Toyota for a similar price to a new Kia. So she went out and bought a new Kia, and in her mind she thought she was making a rational decision. Hey, if I'm going to spend $18,000, I'm going to finance $18,000, and with interest is going to be more. She had to finance a car. In her mind, she thought, well, it might as well be on a newer car that came with some warranty and this and that. But it turned out to be a pretty bad decision. The car did not last her very long. I think after 2 years she started having quite a few issues with it, and yeah, it didn't work out well for her. And it's probably hard for her to see, me buying a 2-year-old SUV that I drive often and I haven't had any issues with it. Especially looking at my old Suzuki, it still doesn't have any issues. It has a couple little issues, but I mean, it still runs, it shifts smooth. It's a 2001. I've gotten a lot of bang for my buck with that vehicle. My wife now has a Honda Pilot, which is also a good car. I don't really personally like it. I think it's kind of anemic. I think it's a little weak, but it's very capable in the snow, and it is pretty comfortable, and we haven't had any issues with that either. Before that, we had a Toyota Sienna, which was an absolute workhorse of a vehicle. I loved our Toyota Sienna. It was a 2015. It had the V6. I think it's a 2GR FE. And that is an amazing little V6. That engine, the same size as the Honda Pilot's V6, 3.5 liter, but it felt so much more powerful. It was just really eager, ready to go all the time. It had amazing passing power, even with 6 people in it. We used to drive it around Arizona all weekend long, up and down mountain roads with the whole family. No issues. It had almost 200,000 miles on it when my wife hit a deer, and we never had any issues with that car. Just a great car. So something for you to think about. Don't go wasting your money on some of these new cars. You may regret it. If you already got a solid car, reliable, dependable car that's paid off or that you can afford, and you got extra money just burning a hole in your pocket and you just want something cool and fun, then by all means, go out and buy whatever you want. Go out and buy a new car, something that's cool and fun that you're not going to put a ton of miles on, that you can afford to repair. By all means, you can do it. If you can afford it, go for it. Enjoy it. You only get one life. But if you're struggling, or if you're just barely getting by, you got to be really picky about what car you're getting. Maybe this video will help you. Anyways, hope you guys have a good day.